Welcome to the Driver's Line. I'm Greg.
And I'm Jordan.
And today, we've got a conversation for you.
We sure do. Today's conversation is all about our 2024 Chicago Auto Show.
Yes, Chi-Town.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Kia Auto Show this year. So
it does seem like Kia pretty much dominated this auto show completely.
Yeah, so we've got a couple exciting Kias to talk about here, and a couple of other cars as well. So Jordan's going to go ahead and kick us off with a minivan.
Yeah, when we talk excitement, we mean minivan. Now, I have to say, though, I am a minivan guy. I love a good van.
Van guy, free candy. That's this guy's MO.
Don't understand. Anyway. Jeez. Well, we're starting off with the recently refreshed 2025 upcoming Kia Carnival. Oddly renamed, in my opinion, from the Sedona, but nonetheless, I guess it reflects the owner's chaos every day, right, Greg?
I think it's the chaos as well as the cruise line they like to go on.
With the Carnival, we are sticking with its 3.5-liter V6. That churns out the 290 horsepower that drives us to and from school events. Oh. So that's pretty much a carryover. But added this year is a new hybrid model. Oh. It's a 1.6-liter turbo 4 that has a hybrid assist with it. We have not seen figures on its efficiency necessarily, but I'm sure that it will be pretty competitive, as Kias do tend to be lately.
Yes, when they're not being stolen or catching on fire.
Fair point. In addition to that, though, still no all-wheel drive for the Carnival this year. So that could be a detractor for some folks who live in those northern states. But its styling carries over. Pretty aggressive. They have done some updates to the headlights and taillights. Oh. So now the taillights match the headlights in terms of styling.
It looks as good coming as it does going.
Yeah, it sure does. All right. It's got that signature amber front fascia to the daytime running lights. And it's apparently Kia has a fancy name for its updated styling.
Opposites? United.
Don't ask us what that means.
No, because Kia really doesn't either. Looking actually on the depths of their websites, they just talk about Opposites United. Doesn't really say what it means.
So we're just going to go with it. To me, it just sounds like a, British football team.
Yeah.
Opposites United.
It's a great name.
There you go.
Opposites United FC.
Just a couple more updates in terms of the styling. You got new wheels, especially on the hybrid model. They're more fuel efficient. 0-60 time for that V6 model is still going to be just over 7 seconds. So quick enough to get you onto the highway, but not going to set any lightning laps necessarily, which is totally fine. Cool on the inside, some updates. You got a fingerprint scanner to keep track of your personal preferences so mom and dad can have their own settings.
Yes, because we know minivans are always clean on the inside.
Absolutely.
Because children are clean.
Speaking of clean, a new available option is a white and blue interior. And no, the blue is on the outside of the seats.
It's such a bad idea.
Surfaces are.
All right, so let's think of what goes into a minivan. Children, dogs. Oh. So that is mud, goldfish dust.
Goldfish dust. Slobber. And that's from the kids, too.
Yes, right? Fingerprints. I just unfathomable as to why they would put a white interior in a minivan.
I'm not sure about that one. But I guess maybe they're targeting perhaps like the Uber audience, because the second row now also has massage availability and reclining.
That's comfy.
So we do have some meaningful updates there. Just probably stay away from the white interior.
Yes.
All right. And added to our Carnival this year is level 2 autonomy ability. So I do kind of see possibly this being targeted towards, Uber drivers, that type of thing.
Kia calls their system Highway Assist. It's a level 2 autonomy. Well, I haven't seen a lot of evidence of how well it works, but we're about to.
TBD. So that is your update on the new 2025 refresh Kia Carnival.
All right. So up next, we've got the 2025 Kia K5. And so this is obviously the second generation after it got renamed from the Optima. Lots of exterior changes, kind of just like the Carnival. So they updated the headlights, updated the taillights, kind of made them look a little bit more exotic.
Opposites United.
Opposites United design. The amber, LEDs, trying to give that special extra to it. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's really funny on the Kia is on the side it looks like a lightning bolt. And so it's kind of like the Lightning McQueen and like ka-chow. So
Ka-chow,
I might want to get one in red. And they could be like,
oh boy,
flash your little amber indicator if you look ka-chow as you move through traffic.
That's horrifying.
That is horrifying. But the Kia drivers are going to do it. So they have a new 2.5 liter four-cylinder that is now for the base model. It's 11 more horsepower than the previous 1.6 turbo.
Ooh, 11 more horsepower.
11 more horsepower. Actually, that's the most torque in class, which is something that Kia is proud to announce.
And it's something I think Kia owners really look for.
Absolutely, they want that power.
Absolutely.
And so all-wheel drive is available in the GT line and the GT. Well, not in the GT, but just in the GT line. GT keeps its 290 horsepower turbo 4 paired with an 8-speed dual clutch.
Hey now, okay, got that dual clutch action.
Yeah, so I mean, 290 horsepower with a dual clutch is probably not too much of a slouch.
Yeah, certainly not.
Yeah, and so inside, they've made a lot of changes with the interior. You can now get a 12.3-inch curved display for the driver, 12-inch display for your center stack and your sat nav. As with the Carnival, you can now get the level 2.
All right.
Highway assist.
See how that goes?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You get the Kia Digital Key Assist as an option.
Nice.
So you can have a digital key that pairs with your phone.
Okay.
Maybe that is more secure than their, other means where people were stealing their cars off of TikTok.
Ooh.
And of course,
it's rough.
Unlike General Motors, CarPlay and Android Auto are standard.
Ooh. That's a gut shot right there. That's a good shot.
Yes, so.
Well, speaking of General Motors, one of the only all-new vehicles to debut at the Chicago Auto Show. Brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
It's the all-new 2025 Chevy Equinox. I know.
Oh!
But in all seriousness, this is a pretty important vehicle for Chevrolet.
Absolutely.
It's the meat and potatoes of their sales.
Seller, yeah.
Absolutely. And aside from the Silverado, it's their best seller. Wow. So we got to make sure that we're hitting that market strong. So Equinox has been pretty long in the tooth for a while here. Mm-hmm. So it was due for an update, and it does seem to capture the updated Chevy Traverse styling. Kind of rides in on its big brother's update for earlier last year.
It does. The Equinox always looks so soft, right? Mm-hmm. Like it just looked like such a soft little CUV, and you're like, what is its point? And so now, especially with like the RAV4 kind of trucky. It looks more like a 4Runner now, and I think Chevy's finally getting on board with maybe people want something that looks kind of trucky, even though it's not.
Absolutely, yeah. And speaking to that, this is the first year has been offered an active trim. Active spelled ACTIV, because the E would just be too much money for General Motors to spend on that badging, probably.
Well, probably. Since they do that little electrified E on their EVs, God forbid that would confuse people. They think it's an EV. They get in there and be like, trying to plug it in.
Yeah, so and not to be confused with its electric sibling, because it looks completely different, right? That's on the Ultium platform. The Equinox is still on the same platform, just been updated and kind of modified slightly. A big improvement apparently for the Equinox this year is that they raised the floor 19 millimeters, so there is no longer a bump in the back passenger area for your center seat there.
What luxury.
Exactly. They're thinking of everything, right? So the powertrain still carried over from last year, which hasn't really seemed to be an issue. The four-cylinder does its job, but you do have the added active trim, so that's going to get you slightly smaller wheels, but much bigger, chunkier tires. It's going to get you that two-tone option for your paint. So if you like having that white roof with the white mirror caps, it's going to get you that as well. And it's going to give you slightly different aggressive fascia and skid plates.
Skid plates.
We'll see
we should test the thickness of those.
I don't know about that one.
Well, a ball-peen hammer. Ding!
You do have option of front or all-wheel drive as on all trims in the United States, and LED lighting standard across the board now for front and rear. So there you go. Chevy stepping up their game with lighting. But I think it's a really solid-looking vehicle in its class. It's definitely adapting to, as you said earlier, a lot of vehicles are moving towards that off-road style for SUVs. So what's really great about the Equinox is it's adapted that on the outside, but on the inside, you have that same kind of sporty interior that Chevy has been kind of captured onto start off with the Camaro, but that's been kind of stretched across with the Blazer and the Traverse, and they're all kind of hopping onto that. So I think it looks really great. TBD to see how it performs, but I think it's a pretty solid choice.
Absolutely. We're very impressed with the Traverse, the new styling there, and so I think it really works well even on the smaller package. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big seller for them.
Yeah, kudos Chevy, kudos GM.
Yeah.
All right, last up on our list for the Chicago Auto Show for new reveals is the 2025 Ford Explorer.
Yeah.
So this is largely just a refresh again, kind of much like the Kias as well. Power carries over, so you've got the 2.3 liter EcoBoost and the 3 liter EcoBoost, with 300 and 400 horsepower respectively. Hey. So you can get the 3 liter EcoBoost on both the ST and the Platinum trims, which is, gives you that nice option to have a little bit more oomph in your giant SUV if you need it. Yeah. Lots of changes on the inside. So they moved the dash forward to give you a little bit more interior room, just like your fancy Equinox raising the floor. Right. So working on increasing some of that space there for you.
Hey, they're thinking of everything over there at Ford, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. So also new is Ford's digital experience. So that gives you a 13.2 touchscreen with Google Maps. And that's actually kind of neat because Google Maps can move between the center stack and on the driver's display.
Hey, look at that.
Which is something very Tesla-like. And, one of the things that frustrates me about our Audi is that if you want to use Apple Maps, it doesn't work on the driver's display. It only works on the center screen.
First world problems.
I know. It really is.
Mr. Prestige over here.
Not that prestigious, right?
I guess not.
But works with Google Assistant and Alexa, which is pretty cool. And kind of in the Tesla vibe, you can stream videos, play games, do all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Very cool.
And so
great choice for a family vehicle too, because it's obviously going to carry lots of kids in there.
Absolutely. And now you can get Blue Cruise on it as well, which is Ford's level 2 autonomous driving assistant.
Seeing that spreading everywhere now.
It is. Yeah. God help us.
Fair point. Well, that basically wraps up our Chicago Auto Show coverage.
It sure does. Thank you so much for watching.
See you next time.
Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss a thing.